All right, hey everyone. Today we have Tim Roy's second place Despia deck profile. Tim, is there anything you'd like to say regarding what you've done?
I had a good day on Sunday, but it was a great day.
I'm glad that he topped. What was your pricing? Like a box and a half or something?
2 boxes.
2 boxes? That's pretty good.
Yeah, and I pulled some good stuff. I pulled the Vsauce and the Therion.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Yeah, the Vsauce was $8 when I opened it on Sunday, but when it got to today, it was already up to 20, so I can't be mad at that.
Yeah. Well, at least you got some money out of it.
Yes, sir.
But nonetheless, let's get started on that deck profile.
All right. So we start out the triple Luber. I'm always searching. I think every game I opened Branded Fusion, so I would always search the Lost.
Of course.
If people had the Ash, then that would be a good turn, but that was all I had for them. But if I had the cross out, because
you would have an interaction somewhere.
I would have an interaction.
Of course.
So I think that's the biggest death point of the deck is if someone has the Ash for the fusion. So I felt like I needed to play that today. Triple Alvaz. I love bringing this out off the fusion monsters when you send it to the grave, especially when they blow up my field. So I can at least at the end phase maybe try to take some of the monsters. Usually I'll bring out the Predaplant if they summon the fusion on me.
Have you actually resolved Alvaz a couple of times? Or?
In the end phase, yes, I have.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, so I definitely get to take some monsters off the board, especially some people play the level 8s, so I can also bring out the level 8s. But if I just need to make a light or a dark, most decks only play lights or darks, so I think that would be my targets right there.
Understandable, because lights and darks are generic.
Play the triple Edgent. I think every game I sided one chain out or one patchwork out just because I didn't want to see it.
Of course.
I ran into the occasion of not having enough polymerizations to resolve the patchwork, so I felt like I need to trim back on the ratio, but 3 is pretty good.
Okay.
Especially if I can discard it off the opening, then it's like a super plus. 2 Tragedy. I think I like 3. I think 3 is...
You prefer 3?
Yeah, I think 3 is the right ratio. Just because if I can allure it and draw it, or allure it and have it in hand and add the Luber, then it's like, that's a lot of card advantage right there.
Nonetheless, your goal is to always send that card through Branded Fusion just so you can get the pluses anyway, right?
Correct. Unless sometimes I'll drop the snow if I open the poly or the Edgent, so I can send the Albion and the Fusion to the grave and open the Predaplant and Masquerade. Not Masquerade, Mirror Jade. When Libium, I don't play the drama. Yeah, I don't play the Dramaturge. I hate it. I think I see it in my hand all the time whenever I main it. I didn't have a match where I felt like I needed it. It just seems like a big body. Yeah, it can negate, but I just think it's too minus for everything that the deck can do.
Were you actually able to resolve Ad Libitum's effect to special Mirror Jade a couple times just so you can get that extra discount?
Yep. So I feel like when I do Branded and Red, I'll always resolve it. But the thing you got to remember is the Mirror Jade doesn't get the popping effect when it's brought back with that. So I forgot about that today. So would have been good to know. One Ecclesia. I like to drop this off the Branded Fusion sometimes. If I open the poly, because then I can add it back at the end phase. Usually I drop it from the Albion and then I'll add it at the end phase, then Albion, and set the Branded in red.
Were you actually able to resolve the effect to add her back to hand a couple of times? Or?
Yep.
That's good.
Yeah, because it's just it's another effect that they have to think about, and then it keeps giving me the card advantage.
Nonetheless, you have a resource.
Right, and then I can always special it and then try to bait out the Ash if they already have a board established. So I'll use its effect to try to summon the Fallen of Alvaz. But that's when they'll have to Ash it, because then they don't want me to take my board, and if they Ash it, then I can go through my Branded Fusion.
Yeah, if they Ash it so early, they're reckless.
Right. Favorite card, Snow.
Snow.
Yeah, I used it so many times when they tried to imperm or skill drain the fusions as they hit the board. I would always whenever
Just banish it to remove it so you can resolve the
so they
effect.
could resolve. And I think it's just so good.
Yeah, Snow's crack.
Yeah, and then like whenever I go to battle, it'll always get me right over that 8,000.
That's good.
Yeah, best card. Kit. If I have it in the hand, it seems to be good. I don't like the putting back at the bottom. I don't know how I feel about it. I didn't really see it that much. I think I prefer the Shrouded Dragon. I think this is a lot better. I didn't play any of the trap cards like the Sword or the Retribution, which I've seen a lot of people doing. I just like dropping either Albaz or the Branded Opening just to get something in the future. If I don't have the Branded in red targets in the grave, I'll always drop the Albaz in there. But this card also counts as Albaz in the grave and on the field, which I don't think a lot of people think about. So you can also use it for the fusion itself.
Which is pretty good, yeah.
One more courier. I like to send. I played the Tri-Brigade Fusion, so when I don't need the Branded in red, I'll sometimes send that just so I can add that to him, just so I have an extra monster negate. So my general board would be Mirror Jade and the Predaplant. I would banish the Aluber and trust the Tri-Brigade, add that to hand, so I have 2 negates and the banish, but I would also have my Branded in red.
That's good.
I play a couple hand traps.
Okay.
I played the Droll.
3 Drolls.
Yeah, just because I thought I would be playing a lot of either Despia or Sky Striker, just to stop him off that first one. It's really good in the mirror match, but if they use the opening in the draw phase, then it's like,
which they
always
because
do. Yeah,
I think they're that smart now.
Yeah, so if they don't have it, but if they have the Aluber, then it's one thing, because then they add the Branded Fusion, and then they have to change the way they play because they can't add like the Tragedy. So they'll probably go for the Albion, which is a lot harder if they don't open the Poly either.
Of course.
2 nibs. People just aren't respecting it right now.
Yeah.
I think they're gonna start probably this weekend. I also play a little aggressive, so if I open the cross out, I'll definitely just play super aggressive because they'll think that they'll probably wait till the very end, and by the time I already got all my pluses, they'll think, all right, nib, no, hit them with the cross out. But if I don't have the cross out, I'll always stop it for them.
Of course.
2 Ash. I was between 3. 2 seemed fine. 3 is always good, but again, it's just a thing for the cross out. Just so if they have it for the Branded Fusion, then I can actually play. If they hit me with this and I don't have the cross out, then it's good. It'll be a tough way to recover because you just go so minus. Lost. Super good if you can resolve it. 9 times out of 10 they do have the Ash, and if you don't have the cross out, then it's like, all right, you added that probably off your Aluber with your Branded Fusion. If you can't resolve it, then you probably lose that game. I'm maining the Harpies.
Macro hate?
Yeah, just
Gotcha.
a lot of Eldritch, a lot of mine. This is like the only card I think my out. One of the biggest things I was fearing though was the Psychic End Punisher guy.
Oh yeah, that guy.
Like, I remember I masqueraded someone to like 600 life points and they dropped that on me, and I was just like, yep, I can't get over that. Followed by good card. Needed that too.
I would love it if it's not at 1. But
Yeah, foolish.
Foolish, of course.
Mostly I'll drop the Tragedy, then add the Aluber. If you open that and you can drop it, then you can change your plays to go more towards the light base. And if you have the edge imp and you can add the poly, then you can set yourself up really good.
Of course.
2 red, Branded red. I think 2 is the right number. But if they have the crow, then
just happens.
Yeah, it just happens. But whenever I can resolve this for Chimera, it's super good.
Yeah.
I prefer the 1 pop and the 2 draw just so I can get that advantage. If I have the 2 monsters, I'll do my best to interrupt them at however.
Yeah, depending on what they have.
Right.
Yeah.
2 polys.
Of course.
Yeah, just with the edge imp, it's so good. Yes, this is a busted ass common one.
Yep, and you try to resolve patchwork as much as possible just so you can get those pluses in your hand.
Yeah.
Speaking of patchwork, yeah.
Like
at 3, it's a perfect card.
I think this card is just so good.
Yeah, this card is an enabler for you to fusion summon.
Right, and it's just like, and most people won't negate it. Like, if it's your only card in the hand, they won't negate it, just because it's not that good, but it's so good. Triple Allure.
Of course.
Yeah, if I were to have this in all spells and it was just not looking good, I would just set the whole hand, activate it, and pray. If I saw it, I think most times if I were to do that, I would always top deck into the Tragedy, and that would just.
That'll be plus whether you banish like Tragedy or Mercurial.
Yeah, but usually if I can banish the Tragedy, I can just go off, because then I'm gonna assume that they don't have the Ash, they don't have really any responses to it. If they got the Veiler, the Imperm, then that's that.
Makes sense.
I play triple cross out just because I always want to see it. I think it's very underrated.
Especially
I know
like,
a lot of people aren't playing. Yeah, a lot of people aren't playing the hand traps or anything like that. But I just don't think that's right. I think you need this. I think this should be like $100 card right there.
But it's surprisingly 30-ish, I think.
Triple Branded Fusion. Really good, just seems a little unfair, honestly.
This card is enough to say a lot of things on its own. It's pretty good.
Yeah, like if you're like in a top decking one, you top deck that's like so much combo.
Oh yeah. Or you just resolve Tragedy, reset the card, and bam, you get to do it again.
Yep. I just think it's
of course,
$10, for a structure deck, good to go. Like I think you could easily play this deck. Super Poly. It's okay. A lot of, back when everybody was playing like only Despia or Sword Soul, it was like super good. But now a lot of people are playing Flunders or Strikers or the Therions. If you don't have like the Albaz target and they don't have either a light or a dark, it's kind of a dead card. Most games I would side it out just because a lot of the decks just don't have any targets for me. Like it's okay, but I would probably keep it in the main. Triple opening. This card is a lifesaver. You always forget it at the end phase, not the end phase, when
draw phase.
Yeah, in the draw phase. But I meant if they use like a effect to destroy, like in the mirror for the
that effect, the insurance effect.
A lot of people, like if it's like under your graveyard, a lot of people will forget it.
Wow.
Yeah.
But that's on them. But nonetheless, like that card is insanely good just because of that effect alone. Yeah.
Yeah, like this card is super good.
Of course.
Yeah, I don't play any traps. I like the Branded Banishment. But like I said, it's kind of like a super poly, and if they don't have the targets where I can take their whole board or take at least 2 monsters off their board, it just doesn't seem worth it to me.
Of course.
Extra deck. I only play 1 Rebellion, just because you can always shuffle it back. If most of the time they won't negate that. If I can shuffle it back and then just keep going with it, then it's perfectly fine at 1. But I play 3. The Albion. I love going first, dropping Snow and the Albaz. And if I can fuse this off into the grave and set the Branded in red and still have the Predaplant, then that's like really hard for anybody to get over, but I think this is one of my favorites.
Yeah, that card's pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah, I think at 3 is the correct ratio. Double Mirror Jade.
Dual mutagen.
Yeah, it's really good.
The best part is you can always recycle it.
Yeah, and bringing it back off the ad lib is just super crazy because getting 2 banishes and the ability to search at the end phase, surge or special, is just ridiculous. I think that the blow up effect is just, you don't get to see it as much because you're always bringing it back off the ad.
Nonetheless, it's an amazing disrupt during your opponent's turn.
Good.
That's the goal of the card, yeah.
Yeah. 2 Chimera.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, I like to pop 1, draw 2, just because I love the card advantage.
And that insurance effect with Poly in the grave, yeah.
Exactly.
You're always doing it with Poly, but then again, you usually summon this card through Branded Red, I think.
Right.
Yeah.
But even though this is really good against like the back row decks, like especially at the end phase when they set their 5, and you can drop that on them and at least blow 2 up. And if you hit, you hit the skill drain or you hit the Eldritch cards, you'll just be set. 2 Masquerades. I didn't bring this out at all today. Like the 600 life points is good and all. Only time I think I would bring it out is if I was going into time. I would never bring this out turn 1.
Really?
Yeah, I don't. I think if I would have to bring it out, I would. But I think if I had the choice between this and the Predaplant, I would always go for the Predaplant.
You never went through that scenario where you just bring out 2 Masquerade and hope to burn your opponent in 8
No,
moves?
because ever since that Psychic and Punisher, I'm just like, man, that is not something I want to get into again.
Oh, that's true.
1 house. I actually got this dropped on me today with the Super Poly. They took my whole board. So I was like, yep, that's a good card. But I never brought it out. But this is really good against Eldritch because you can banish their stuff. Never bought it out. I like to send it just to add the Albaz if I really need it, or especially if I really need it, but I didn't use it at all today.
Nonetheless, it's an option for you.
Right. This one, second favorite card of the whole deck. I just think it's so nasty that you can get that negate off.
Also a good Super Poly target, too.
And it's a great Super Poly target, especially in the mirror. It's just so nasty. This one, I think it's an underrated card. Being able to add the Mercurier off of it, just at the end phase, just gives you that extra negate. But yeah, and even if you were to bring it out and you had a full board, then this is the only card that your opponent can target. So it also protects your other monsters too.
That's good.
Quarter.
Another good option during the battle phase, especially.
Yeah, it's really good. But in the mirror, like you said, like when everybody has level 8 fusions, then it's hit or miss. But
yeah, really.
Yeah, it's good. It's good against when you do your Branded in red and they have an attack position monster, and you can still summon that. And then your Branded in red monster can attack it because they can't attack directly, so you still get that full damage. All right, and for the side, triple twister. I figured I was gonna go against a lot of mine or a lot of stuff with the back row, so I wanted to get at least the most. I saw a lot of people liking the Cyclone. I think just 2 is the right.
1 for 2.
Yeah, 1 for 2 is just the right way to go, especially right now with a lot of decks playing a lot of stuff in the back row.
Understandable.
Dark Ruler. I wish I played this at 3. I would play this at 3.
You only play it at 2? That's surprising.
Yeah. I actually only had 2.
With the new.
Just because when people can establish that board, like if you open that, then you could wipe their whole board with no problem. Like the damage isn't an issue because they won't be able to recover from it. I cited this mostly for the Therions, just because that full board, especially with the Rose Whip and the Baron, it's just like, that's just not fun to play against.
At least that card says a lot on its own.
Right.
Yeah.
This card, there can only be one. If I were to go if I was going turn 1, if I went first, I would always side this in, especially against Sword Soul. I just think it easily beats Sword Soul. Flunders, any of that. Like, I don't know what other decks have the same type, but anything with that, I would put that in. Barrier. Super good. I like playing even against like Sword Soul where it's kind of slow. I would still play it just so I would have another cross out target, because if they go first, they'll mostly have it. So if I have a target for it, then I can easily, then that'll probably be their whole board. I can take care of it.
Yeah.
2 pro, good for the mirror. Good to just remove any card that's a pain. I think versus Therion you have to have both of the spell and the monster in the grave. So I think just removing the monster really slows them down.
Yeah.
Play 1 token collector. I was originally playing 3. I didn't think I'd have that much of an issue with Sword Soul. But if I saw it, then it was really good, and I could also dump it off the Foolish. But I didn't really. I don't think it's that necessary in this deck. And then the other 2.
The Zombie World.
Yeah,
yeah, that's enough to say a lot.
I saw a lot of people playing this. I never started it once. I like it. It seems a little spicy. But I think the only deck it really slows down is the Sword Soul. So I feel like I had a lot of stuff for Sword Soul in here. And my translation. My edges.
But that has to be like kept in another compartment.
Yeah, so I got it all in different stuff.
But nonetheless, that is your Despia deck profile.
Yeah, nothing new. Pretty standard.
Well, that's pretty good to hear.
I had a good
Are there
time.
any shout-outs that you want to make in particular?
Shout out to my teammate Alex Pillay. He wasn't able to make it there today on Sunday. And shout out my wife.
Oh, that's good to hear. Thank you for the deck profile. Remember everyone to like, comment, subscribe. If you like more of my content, please consider clicking that like button and so on.
Yes,
All right, I'll check you all later.